All right. I should be live everywhere. Hey, folks. I'm drinking tea today. I'm here to want to drink tea. Well, I'm here because I want to drink tea and I want to share tea. I want I want to be able to communicate tea to my friends. I don't think I can. I don't think I have been. Rather, I don't think I have been well. So I'm trying to figure that out and doing that by streaming. So we'll see how that goes. Today, I do want to. There's one thing I want to do. Well, the main thing is going to be drinking tea, of course. I'm going to see if I can somewhat guide my own experience to being something specific. And I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try it. Anyway, so the specific thing that I'm going to try to guide my experience to be is to have a sense of non-locality for the senses, meaning that all of the sensory experiences are happening in one location, one point, the same singular point. That's the idea. I'm going to try to do that. I'm not really going to try very hard. Just have the slight intention I'm going to drink this tea. Got a raw pu'er today. I'm very excited. So, have you all ever tried setting goals and achieving those goals that you've set? It's not something I have a lot of experience with. So, I'm kind of trying to learn this partially by streaming, partially by learning how to communicate and share things with my friends. Actually trying to do it, setting the goal, keeping track of how well I'm communicating over time, if things are improving, noting any problems I'm having with communication. I mentioned diction recently. I have a couple verbal tics also. Okay. I'm going with 7 grams of tea. Seems like a lot, but I don't really want to dial it in. So this is the tea I'm drinking. I'm showing TikTok at the moment. Here, I got some tea here. Let's warm it up. So this tea should have a pretty strong effect on my experience, I think. It's a nice tea. I've had the tea many times before. It's pretty calming. It's a pretty relaxing type of tea. Gives me the full body muscle relaxation type of feeling. So I'm gonna try to nudge that to be more of a experience of only having all sensations happening at one singular point. That's the plan. It's a sensation I like. I feel it occasionally, but not very often. And I haven't felt it in a while. And I don't know why I just recently thought about it. So it seems like my voice is getting so since I thought about it recently, I want to dive into that. Looking at my voice on YouTube, it looked like it was overblown for a second. That's not good. And I forgot some utensils here for myself, so I gotta write this down. Things I need to keep nearby. Please, no TikTok co-hosts. They don't show. No co-hosts for TikTok. I'm just gonna be drinking my own tea by myself and talking about it. And I won't be able to. I guess I can kind of see some chats, so if you're chatting, I might be able to see it, but I'm not really paying attention to any chats, so I won't be interacting very much, just to say. Okay, so lovely tea. It looks a little bit more brown than I'm used to. It's been a while since I had it, and it's been in that time, I guess, oxidizing a little bit. Smells nice. It's like sweet hay. Throwing it into the warm gaiwan. Throwing this into my warm cup. I'm just gonna call this a cup. It's a cup. I'm gonna call it a cup. It's called a gaiwan in Chinese. Some people like to speak Chinese sometimes. I'm gonna call it a cup. In Chinese, gaiwan means cup with a lid. This is the lid, this is the cup. I'm just gonna call it a cup. It smells really nice. It smells like honey. Like a field of flowers. Like pollinated flowers. Getting a bee theme going on. So my shoulder has slightly recovered. I was injured yesterday, so much so that I could barely work with my left shoulder, this shoulder here, and I had had a lot of difficulty throughout the day. It actually was really painful. Um, so I didn't go to the gym yesterday because of that. However, this morning it feels really nice. Doesn't feel like it's super painful at all. It's like a little. There are a couple places where if I'm moving my shoulder in some configurations, it kind of seems to spasm slightly, but no pain or little pain, very little pain. Check out that color. Okay, so we're with the smells again here. It smells like there's something woody about it. There's something woody about it. It also smells like burnt. Oh, it smells like toast. That's what it is. It smells like wood and toast. Wood, like almost like it could also be close to paper, so kind of papery, kind of woody, and then toast in a very, very pleasant way. Taste is round, bubble gum, uh, honey. There's another fruit there that I can't really identify. It's a tropical fruit. Tropical fruit. Maybe mango. Oh yeah, definitely mango. So I even caught it in the aftertaste. So really nice tea, big explosion of flavor all around the mouth, and then a strong aftertaste. So I can like really get it in the throat. Still now, of just it's like quenching down into this beautiful mango flavor. Really, really ripe mango. Extremely smooth. There's also red berries in the flavor. So that's the flavor I'm getting. And then let's just think of the experience that I'm having. I'm already having a pleasant experience. I like streaming, so I have a pleasant experience from streaming because I like to stream, and it's usually nice. I get pretty excited when I start to stream. So there's that. And then I'm having it's a very nice tea. Feels pleasant. My body feels pretty relaxed already. I feel my mind was already pretty quiet this morning. You might be able to tell. I can't tell. You might be able to tell. I'm trying to talk more. So yesterday I was very talkative. I was just kind of naturally talkative. Now I'm attempting to talk, and it's a funny feeling to me. It feels good. It feels funny, but I my mind feels a lot more quiet than it did yesterday. So I do want to lean into that, but I also want to talk. And I want to have this experience of having most things kind of delocalized and seeming as if they're happening all at one point. I don't know if that's a possible thing to do. So I'm kind of one of the things I'm thinking about, one of the ideas I've been having is if I can shape a tea experience. So I have tea with my friends pretty often. Most weekends I'm having tea with somebody. And as a part of the tea experience, I try to, like, I might get multiple tea, we'll have multiple teas at a time, and I will put them in a particular order to have an experience of the tea, bringing excitement and then chilling down or something of that nature, doing something to the mood in a particular sequence, or maybe kind of getting relaxed and then getting really relaxed and then going off a cliff of relaxation. These types of things I like to do, but I've only done it very minorly. I haven't really gone super deep into it, and I also haven't really done it for myself. I have taken lots of notes on teas that I've had and the effects that they've had on me, but I've not. I don't think I've ever specifically chosen a tea for myself to have a specific effect, nor have I done that and then actually tested how well the tea was at doing the effect that I intended or I expected. So I kind of want to dive into that a little bit, which is why I'm doing it today. So the berry flavor of this tea stays stronger. The berry flavor became more of a forward taste, with the mango kind of being an aftertaste. I can still kind of taste it, and then the burnt flavor, which was like a toast smell. It wasn't really a taste flavor, but it slowly became a flavor in the cup, and it was more like tobacco, more like fresh tobacco leaves rather than burnt toast or just toast. It's a pleasant smell. It's also like a butteriness smell to it. So toast and butter kind of work well together as smells go. So I've got this tea, and it's got a lot of bubbles in it. It's not like it's actually not a lot, but there are some bubbles in here. Do you see? You see the small amount of bubbles there? I recently learned a little bit about bubbles in tea, and apparently there's a Chinese word for it, chamo or something like that. And there are particular reasons why it's caused, something to do with tannins, and then there's another thing I don't even remember. I wrote it down, I'm sure. Let me see if I can find it. I I can. T saponin. I don't know what T saponin is, but it's a compound in tea, and it causes bubbles like foam. persistent bubbles. So it's an indication, bubbles are an indication of T saponin and tannins. So I actually didn't look more into it because I heard it from a single person on TikTok saying that it was caused by tannins. But I also know that tea doesn't actually have tannins. They have pseudotannins. So it's a slightly different. I mean, it's the same. It's a similar type of thing, a different category though. I guess I would want to look slightly more deeper into the topic so that I understand whether or not it is these pseudotannins or something else going on. And of course, maybe not of course, the tannins are contributing to astringency. So the idea for me would be to, if I can see that my tea has a lot of foam in it, that might be an indication that there is going to be a lot of astringency. There's currently not a lot of astringency in this tea, but there is some astringency, the very pleasant astringency. The a type of astringency is like making my tongue feel slightly fuzzy, a slight fuzziness to the tongue. What happens is the astringency is kind of a drying out effect. It makes the mouth or the tongue feel drier, or the throat feel drier. And if you only do a little bit of dryness, it's just like the slightest, tiniest hint of dryness, and also your tongue, like the taste buds are kind of saturated and activated, there's a pleasant effect of this fuzziness. It feels fuzzy. So that's what I'm feeling. My body feels extremely stable. So if I take a second to just not move a little bit, let me get into a good position here. It feels like the body immediately melts or morphs or meshes into. It feels like becoming the floor. The floor and the body are blending in a way. It feels very pleasant. Not exactly the effect I was going for, but this is already very nice. I'm on the second steep. It seems to be happening faster than typical. I've been having some tea ideas. I've been having some video ideas for tea video ideas. And one of the ideas is that I want to talk about breaking up a tea cake. I have a friend who sent me a video about tea cakes, and the person in the video mentioned that they don't break up their tea cakes. They don't break them up completely. So a tea cake, I don't have a tea cake nearby, so I can't show you what a tea cake is. This is going to be a little bit of hypothetical if people don't understand what I'm talking about. So usually tea is compressed. I have some tea here. Okay, I've got a partially broken tea cake. All right. This is a little bit of compressed tea. It was actually compressed into a bigger cake, but this is like a compressed tea. You see that? So it's usually in a bigger thing. It's like this big. It's like a big cake. It's called a cake. I don't know why it's called a cake, but it's a circular thing. And most people don't break up the full cake. Most people will take off a chunk of it and keep the circular shape intact. I will personally break up the full cake and then put them into little canisters like this. Um, like this one also was a tea cake, but now it's just loose. So the I keep them in cake form while I'm storing them for a long period of time. And then when I want to start to use it, when I want to start to drink the tea, I will break open the cake, put it into a canister, and then drink from the tea leaves from the canister. So some people do that, what I do, and most people don't do that, what I do. So I want to have a video talking about that. Specifically, I want to test it myself. I want to see if there's a major difference. So I have a lot of tea cake from White 2 Tea called Lumber. I'm going to say Lumber Lover. I don't think I can. It's called Lumber Lover. You can look up Lumber and White 2 Tea. You might find the actual name of it. It's a little different from that. But there is a tea cake from White 2 Tea. I have, I think, three of them. So it'll be an easy experiment. It'll be an easy experiment. I can break one of them up completely and store it, and then break partially one of them up and just drink that. And then after a week, see if there's a major difference between the taste if I were to taste both of those. Something like that. The full experimental design hasn't been really fleshed out, and it's not meant to be a fully scientific experiment. It's not going to be extremely precise. It's going to be preliminary, but that's the idea. I guess if it's extremely obvious, then I guess it isn't preliminary, but I just want to test it out. So that might be happening. That'll be happening for me in a couple weeks. Over the next few weeks, I'll be recording that video. And in the recording of that video, I'll also be talking about how to break up a tea cake, some of the things you do. Here I use a brush. I have a brush, for example. I have a brush, and this brush has what is called a tea pick in the brush, and this is what I use to open up my tea cakes. I have a tea friend who, for a very long time, used a knife, a kitchen knife, to break up tea cakes. Not a great idea, not a good way of doing it. Breaks a lot of leaves, doesn't really open up the tea cake. What do you think? Good idea? Bad idea? That'll be my idea. All right. Tea feels great. Still feeling a little bit of the astringency, and it kind of moves around the tongue. It seems to kind of go towards the sides of the tongue and then kind of slosh into the middle and then come back to the sides and then go away. Astringency, I'm just saying that there's just like a slight dryness that I'm feeling really. And along with that dryness, there's a slight dryness and a slight pinching, I guess. The pinching is the movement thing. The thing that's moving is a pinching, but there's a slight dryness to go along with it. So my breathing feels very long, smooth and long. I'm feeling a bit like I'm floating. The aftertaste of cranberry is very nice. That's kind of going up into my sinuses. Floating is becoming stronger. I'm also starting to feel hungry. There's some teas that feel hungry. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know what it is. Some teas make me feel hungry, and some of them do it in different ways. Like some of them, right now, I'm feeling kind of stomach area hungry. Maybe I'm actually just hungry. There's also that. I could just actually just be hungry. I'm not usually hungry at this time, but I could just be hungry. I haven't eaten. I just woke up. I woke up to stream, okay? I woke up just like this to stream. I have not eaten yet. I could just be hungry. Some teas, however, do make me feel hungry more than other teas. And some teas make me feel full. And the location of the feeling of hunger or fullness is also different for certain teas, which is, to me, very strange. So for this tea, it does feel more like a stomachy kind of full hunger. Sometimes it's more like esophageal hunger. There's just like a particular feeling. It's a there's like a tingling sensation or like a maybe a pressure sensation. I don't know what the sensation is. There's a particular sensation that happens on on the on the alimentary tract. I wanted to not say that word, but I said the word. Okay, alimentary tract. What I mean is there's the mouth, there's the lips, there's the tongue, there's the throat, and then the parts of the throat, pharynx, larynx, whatever, and then there's the esophagus, and then there's the stomach and the intestines and so on. All of those things, I'm kind of using them. I want to put them all together as one thing, and they're different. Each different part of those can feel hunger. To me, I think each different part of those can feel the sensation of hunger. And while drinking tea, certain teas will have that sensation very obvious in different locations. So I've had many teas where it feels like I'm hungry, but it's only in my mouth or it's only in my throat, and it's only in my esophagus, and now I'm feeling it in the stomach. That might sound weird. It might sound like a weird sensation. It might actually be weird. I don't know. But that's how it feels. This tea is so smooth. It still is. Well, there's a smoothness to the swallow. It is a slow swallow, but it doesn't. It seems to be just happening on its own. It seems to be automatic. And then there's a long. Oh, this there's an aftertaste that's coming up. That's just getting. I don't know what to. There's a very nice aftertaste that's here right now. It's close to the cranberry feeling. The close to the cranberry aftertaste. I had a cranberry aftertaste for a while, or a taste for a while. It's kind of close to that. It's even more. It is actually. It's just cranberry. It's just more tart than it was before. It's becoming more and more tart. So I like to do this type of thing every morning. Pay attention to the experience that I'm having. Sometimes I write it all down. Sometimes I just do it quietly without writing. And sometimes I'm doing it here while streaming. And I just want to become more keenly aware of certain experiences that I'm having personally. And also, I want to appreciate the beauty of these experiences that I'm having with more clarity. Sometimes I say clarity, sometimes I say resolution. I guess it means something slightly different, but specifically resolution in terms of I want to be able to distinguish different things that are happening. So maybe I'm having a pleasant experience. That might be obvious to me. But then I might say I'm having a pleasant experience that feels like I'm floating. And that's a slightly more resolution. And then I might say, well, it doesn't really feel like I'm floating, it just feels like my body is not there and there's an energy that's moving. And that's slightly more higher resolution because maybe the floating sensation is uh, what I mean by floating is that it doesn't feel, I don't feel the body and I feel energy moving. And when I say pleasant, that's what I mean. Well, you get the picture. There's higher resolution to be had there. So I want that higher resolution with my taste. If I'm tasting cranberry, I want to make sure I'm tasting cranberry aftertaste. I want to be tasting cranberry aftertaste in my throat up to my sinuses and only in the out breath. I've never mentioned that, but usually when I'm tasting the aftertaste, it's while I'm breathing. My vision, my visual focus seems to be wanting to not stay on anything close. I don't know how to say this. I think I do know how to say this. My eyes seem to just be defocusing. It wants to look further into the distance. There's not much of a distance to look into because there's a big screen and a wall behind all of my cameras going on here. But it wants to look very far into the distance. And also my my general attention wants to not be focused on anything. This is why you can see this stopping of the talking, kind of preventing my own. The mind seems to be wanting to loosen, not really grip onto anything, and I'm a little bit reining that back so that I can talk and describe the experience that I'm having. It's very pleasant. Let's remember I'm wanting to feel all things in one point. I'm not having that sensation. Outside of the body, it feels a bit more. It's very dense. So the exterior of my body, it feels like it's in gelatin or something like that. Yeah, you ever see like a There's like a cartoon, I believe. There might be a cartoon of a person in gelatin or like in jello. I don't know. I'm getting that feeling myself now. Or maybe even an ice block. Oh, ice block. That'd be cool. I'm starting to feel my skin go cold. Ice block. Imagine being frozen in a block of ice. That feels amazing. So we could all just feel like we're in a block of ice, I guess. If whoever wanted to. Okay, another shift. Vision again changed. For some reason, there was another. Hmm. Okay, I don't know the reason, and I don't know why I even mentioned it for some reason. It kind of threw me off. I had a verbal tick there that made me hesitate and threw me off a bit. What I'm saying though is that my vision seems to have changed in some way. I do feel I want to focus on things now. The vision wants to focus on things. And it feels a bit weird. Like, I don't have a clear, I don't have a clear description of it. Okay, the mind quieting is happening more strongly, and maybe, maybe, maybe an issue for streaming. I'm streaming here. It feels amazing. I do wish I could share with my friends the movement here and all the details and all of the twists and turns and the topography of experience that's available. Okay, I'm noticing, I didn't notice, I think it has been happening for a while. I'm a little bit extra sensitive to touch. I was a little bit caressing my tea cup here, so feeling a bit hypersensitive to touch. The sense of vision is similar to what it was before. It's still like there's like a hyper 3D vision. Things look a little bit more. There's a sense of scale that's kind of expanding, where things that are very close here in my vision look very, very close. When I start to smell things, it looks like it's extremely close, which it is. My eyes are here, and with the vision, anyway, it feels close. But then things that are slightly further back feel very, very far away. So there's like an expanding of scale. The scale is expanding. It's only happening with vision. I just heard a car pass my house. Didn't happen with the car. So it's not happening with auditory. Vision is becoming more saturated. I mean, in colors are just brighter. Colors, not colors, but light. It's not like light. The colors are not more vibrant. It's just the bright lights are brighter. Lights feel bright, very bright. I'm saying lights, but I mean all the things that I'm looking at. Muscle relaxation is strong. I really want to sit here quietly for the next. I want to sit here quietly. There's a feeling of bodily energy, but it seems to be dispersed. It's not really located on the body, and it's kind of like a staticky energy. It's not energy. It's not moving in a particular direction. It doesn't seem to be building or growing. Doesn't seem to be here or there, but it's just kind of a static that's a little bit of everywhere. To go along with the visual sense of scale, three-dimensional scale, extending or whatever that was before, still happening. And also there's movement now. So there's like the foreground and the background, and they're both moving, but they're moving differently. Like they're moving in different directions. They're almost rotating in opposite directions. One clockwise, the other counterclockwise. Vision is highly saturated. I mentioned that before, it's just getting stronger. Breath feels a bit more smooth, even more smooth. Feels like it's moving. It's kind of a the sense of the body is really gone. So it feels like the breath is not going anywhere. Usually I can feel kind of I can usually feel the breath going in the nostrils, going down the throat, getting into the lungs, and so on. But it feels a bit not like that now. I can feel it in the nostril or on the tip. I can feel it in the nostril, and it just seems to just go like disappear. And here comes the sense of scale, exaggerating even more. It's not really beyond the visual sense of scale. Now it feels like it's a feeling sense of scale, feeling of the body sense of scale. Body, it's a sense of scale on the body or off the body. It feels like my room is very large, which I think may be a precursor to the feeling that I was going for from the very beginning, which is having all sensations happen at one point, having the sense of the room get bigger, and along with that, the body getting smaller. Feels like things are happening closer together. All the experiences that I'm having are closer together, and the room is bigger, and it seems very similar. It's like a similar type of thing, kind of moving in that direction. Perhaps, maybe not. Perhaps though, we may be well on our way to what I was going for. But even if not, it feels very pleasant. Hello, everybody. We're drinking tea. I guess we're meditating. Something of the sort, at least. Having some experiences of the world. What's your experience like? How do you feel? Where's your body? Can you feel your body? Can you feel the room around you? Do you sense your vision? Does it seem like things are three-dimensional or more flat? Does it seem like the scale of things are in the proper place? Is everything harmonized? The scale that you feel with your body, the same as the scale that you see with your eyes, the same as the scale that you would think? Do you feel sensitive to any sensations of touch or hearing? When you hear a sound, does it feel more, does it grab your attention more than any other sensation? Or when you touch whatever it is that you can touch around you, does that feel more attention grabbing? Do you want your eyes to focus on something, or do you want them to lose focus and look into the distance, or do you want them to close? Do you sense where your body is resting, standing, sitting, lying, wherever? Do you feel the point where they touch? Is that point clear? Is there a distinction between the body and the rest of the world? Can you feel the interior of your body? Where the breath goes? Is it clear that you can feel it from the nostril through the throat to the lungs? Or does it all melt away? Still more of the toast feeling with the taste here. Toast and cranberry, still strong, getting way more of the astringency. Tongue is really like drying out now. So astringency is pumping up. Flavor is kind of dying down. Still very smooth and pleasant to drink. My TikTok thought I was inactive because I was sitting here quietly for so long. I'm uh, I'm streaming to TikTok. I guess I didn't mention all this. I'm streaming to Facebook. I'm streaming to YouTube twice. I've got two YouTube streams, and I'm streaming to TikTok. Both I've got a YouTube stream that's both horizontal. It's got wide, and we got one that's vertical. Uh, and then TikTok is on my phone. So you might be able to see my phone. If you're on the YouTube horizontal stream, you can see my phone. If you're on the Facebook, you can see my phone. If you're on the TikTok, you're on my TikTok. You can't see my phone. You're on TikTok. I'm streaming to many places. Well, I believe this tea is coming to an end. Not because it's bad or anything. It's actually still quite drinkable. Um, but just because I'm hungry. Um, is it because I'm hungry? So there's a sensation. I don't know how to describe this sensation, but there's a sensation of wanting to drink tea more, and then there's the second sensation, which is the opposite of it, which is being more satisfied. This is the general way of putting it. It's a I think it's a term I got from chocolate. And the chocolate tasting, chocolate tasters out there in the world have different terminologies for tasting chocolate, and one of them is moreish, and the other is satisfying. So you want to drink more, or in terms of chocolate, you want to eat more of it, and the other would be satisfying, as in you had enough. I've had enough. And it doesn't. This is very different from how good it tastes, like how pleasant it is. You can have something that's extremely pleasant while also being satisfying. And I don't really know. Well, that's just how it is. These are these distinctions that can be made. I've definitely had a lot of chocolate, usually the very dark chocolate. You eat a little bit of it, and you're like, wow, that was great, but that was also enough. Um, this tea at first was a lot moreish in terms of I wanted to drink a lot more and more. Very easy to drink. Right now, it's still very easy to swallow. It's very pleasant. Still has a nice flavor, but it's feeling more like I've had enough. So I'm going to begin cleaning up the tea. Here's what we had. It was delicious. I think this is from White 2T. Also, I mentioned a White 2T earlier, White to TT. I think this is White from White to T, but I actually don't know. Sometimes I keep extensive notes on the teas that I buy, and I write them down, and I keep things with post-it notes and stuff. But sometimes I switch canisters, I relabel things, and I forget, and I lose it. So this is just labeled. Oh, it actually is. It's labeled Y2T, so it's definitely Y2T. Raw pu'er Y2T. Don't know what type of white right. I don't know what type of pu'er. I don't know the name of the product from the website, but I do know it was from Y2T, and it was very nice. Y2T has a great selection. Could definitely go longer. I didn't realize, I didn't note how many steeps I was going for. Perfect for probably for a longer session. Maybe best for multiple people, so you don't get into that state of overly full or satisfied before the tea gets to the end. Still feeling the heightened sensitivity to touch. Still feeling most of the visual things I was mentioning before in terms of high saturation. It's not super high now, but high saturation. This wide 3D vision. Room feels big, but not as big. Don't think we got to the point where I wanted. But perhaps close. And there's still way more time. A lot of the effects of the teas can persist for quite a while, at least for me. And I'll likely be sitting quietly for longer after I'm done with the streaming. Alright, y'all. I've got nothing more to say. I just want to sit quietly in this block of ice. It still feels very like dense around me, though very wide. Room big, but dense. Could be a block of ice. And the pleasant cooling sensation on the skin. Feels very nice. Anyhow, I'm going to wrap it up here. Come back another time for more. I don't know when, but another time. I'm going to slowly turn off all the streams I'm streaming onto. Boom.